will be demonstrated by the quality of lecturers that we have at this event. When they start, I'm not sure anybody would be looking at his phone, because they are bringing us quality information, loaded information, that would be like an agenda-setting information for the incoming government to use. And what we are looking for in Edo State is a government that other governors across the country will come and do industrial attachment under. Do you agree with me? We want governors to come and do industrial attachment in governance in Edo State.
Exactly.
In pursuit of this, the first lecturer we're going to have tonight was the very first African-born that was named a principal of a major high school in the state of Georgia in the United States. He's an erudite scholar, and he's very interested in things present and future. He seldom looks at the rearview mirror. Whenever he does that just to be sure that the things behind are not in hot pursuit of what he wants to achieve ahead. Dr. Ayewoh was a special advisor in the Ministry of Education, federal level, where he gave specialized advice on how best to make our education system better, especially at the tertiary level. I won't want to speak too much about him. I want you to hear from the horse's mouth. Join me in welcoming to the podium Dr. Olufemi Ayewoh. You see the way he was running? The guy is senior me. He's not as young as he looks. Welcome, brother.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. If you would allow me, let me stand on all existing protocols. But let me also say quickly, because I am such an advocate for the child and also education, if you give me from now to tomorrow morning, I'll be standing here talking. But I'm going to limit myself, so I've taken some notes. Clearly, evil can only prevail when good men stand by and do nothing.
Exactly.
We seem to have just stood aside as criminals became mentors to our children. I am happy to see the new face of Edo. This is the first time I'm in a group where everything is about progress, about the future, about the next generation. So what I see here are all leaders. You are all leaders in your own ways. Our system seems to have only produced politicians. Politicians are concerned about the next election, their pockets, selfish interests. True leaders are concerned about the next generation and the generation after that. So this is what I see here, all leaders.
Can we clap?
Now, I'd like to remind us that children might be about 10% of our population, but they're actually 100% of our future. So if you miss that 10%, because you think they are little and just only 10%, you miss your future. I'm going to quickly go through what education is, and then give a true picture as to what we need to be doing about it. Education is a social, economic liberator. However bad your situation is in life, it takes you out of that situation and makes you better as a person. Education enhances our ability to make informed choices. This election is about making a choice, but your choice must be informed. It must be thoroughly thought through. When you look at all the candidates, look at what they've done in the past, what they're doing now, the things they say to you. Who do you think will be a better governor? That's an informed choice. But you must be well informed about the choices you make. So education will do that for you. Now, if you're not educated, however, you are likely to make a blunder. So those that say who education help, you need to take very particular recognition of that. Otherwise, you make certain blunders, like the one somebody made today. I'm not going to call names. The person simply said, we're going to build the healthcare, we're going to bring the healthcare center to make a healthcare center. Or we will provide you insecurity. Who education help? Really? Education is a means to an end, not an end in itself. Education is a gift that keeps giving. Education is the mother of all professions. Education is life. Education benefits the individual and the society. Education is at once a constitutional right and a human right imperative. Education is an industry. Nigerians spend more than 1 trillion naira every year to study abroad. The reason we have schools like Cambridge, Oxford, Howard, Clark, Atlanta University, one I attended, Princeton, and others are one, academic excellence and research, and then two, they earn revenue mostly by admitting foreign students from countries like Nigeria, where education is, as in most states, substandard, bastardized, and criminally neglected. Now, there is a direct correlation between the intellectual property or education of a country and the economy of that country. America, for instance, employs and engages more than 120 million highly educated people in the economy. It's no strange to us why America is doing so well. Nigeria and other developing nations unfortunately employ about 10 million people. And then out of the 10 million, you have this brain drain that also goes to the well-developed economies. To make matters worse, when the brain goes, they hardly ever return. Most Western countries, America included of course, have benefited solely from this. So we know that the reason I'm saying this is that we live in a global village. Nigeria is a member of that global village. So when Nigeria educates its children, Nigeria will not only be looking to educate its children for itself, but educating children who are likely to japa and go the other side. When you japa, you don't need to japa and go and be doing dishes or washing toilets and the menial jobs. Japa and do good things. Some of us were lucky to have japa, went to school and also attained some fairly high status. So we're going to be talking about educating our children for the global village. But where is global education? The world has gone from purely academic. Please, it's important that we follow this, so that when you're able to talk to people, you can pass this on. We are doing purely academic stuff, but the world has moved on from there. The world has gone from purely academic to robotics, to artificial intelligence, artificial reality, nanotechnology, metaverse, and genomic technology. All of that sounds very strange, doesn't it? When you think about all the hubs in Edo, when you hear about the tech hub, you hear about the education hub, this is what is being addressed slowly. So the foundation has been laid by the current governor, which is very lucky for Edo. All the next governor needs to do is to come and build on that. Now, here's a troubling question. How do our ill-equipped children compete in the global marketplace that requires skills we have not taught them? The answer is we must speed up to catch up and then keep up. If we don't, we will continue to slide into irrelevance, ineffectiveness, and dysfunctionality. Now, when the DG stood up here earlier, he talked about the future. You know, if you listen to most of his speeches these days about the future, when you listen to the campaign, you hear future, next generation, future, next generation. When is that future? About 10 or thereabout years ago, when people talked about future in education, they said from the year 2025 to 2050. 2025 is when? Next year. The question is, where are we? We're in where?
Artificial
we are
intelligence.
still doing purely academic, and we don't even do it well. That's how sad it is. Now, I want to list out the 10 top jobs for the immediate future, 2025 to 2050. The first one, I just want the list. I just want to, space pilot. I want you to listen carefully to the jobs. The 10 top jobs, 10 tops. If you want the best jobs in the world, these are the things you must train for. Space pilot, data detective, ethical source manager, extinct species revivalist, companion for the aged, IT service broker, AI specialist, user experience designer, 3D printing engineer, data rehabilitation counselor. Those are not the usual things you hear. No doctor, no lawyer, no engineer, no architect. These are the things you hear.
Yes.
Now, it is instructive to add that technology, software engineering, coding, cybersecurity, crypto, automation, digital technology, artificial intelligence, artificial reality, nanotechnology, and genomic tech are changing the world. The painful part is even our professors that don't have a hang on robotics, which is the very next step after purely academic. What is important about artificial intelligence is to the point where we human beings before now worked like machines. Now machines are looking more like us, and it's difficult for you to tell the difference. Now, Austin, 1 minute please. What's going to be important going forward is that our children must be able to compete in creativity. Thank you. I was trying to write, but I've just been told I have some time. Okay. I really enjoyed this talk, by the way. Yeah. Thank you. So, in the future, education is, progress is going to have competition of creativity, competition of imagination, competition of learning. In the past, we made people like machines. Now, and in years to come, machines will be like people. The futurists believe that the past was knowledge and manufacturing driven, and the future will be creativity driven. Our ability to make, create, and innovate will be the paramount importance. Now, very quickly, artificial intelligence. The way things are now, I'm going to break some things down real quick. You've heard of open heart surgery.
Yes, sir.
They used to just cut your chest open and get the heart and, you know, work on the blood vessels and all of that, close it back. Now you don't need to do that anymore. They use a probe. A probe just puts a hole in your body. It will find the blood vessel that is bad. It will go into the blood vessel, disconnect the blood clot, and suck it out. And it comes out, and you just have one little hole. That's it. Okay, I'm going to read off to you things that are happening in the world and why our education needs to change. Like I said, the governor has laid the foundation, but there's a lot more to be done. In Germany, they've designed robots that will build houses. They call them the building robots. All you do is you pre-design the model of the house you want, feed it onto a computer, connect it to the robot, and it goes. It takes it 2 days, and your house is done. Just picture that. In Singapore, they make meat in the lab, and the meat is without health hazards. Bird flu, mad cow disease, things of the past. How do they do that? They'll take a cell from any animal and then go to the lab, feed the cell with soil, and before you say anything, the meat is ready. So you can have your chicken, your beef, any kind of food, any meat you need, without killing an animal. You don't have to kill the animal. And again, the meat you get is without health hazards. Stem cell research is benefiting people with spinal cord injuries, type 1 diabetes, Parkinson's disease, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, Alzheimer's disease, heart disease, stroke, burns, cancer, and osteoarthritis. Organs are being made today in labs for organ replacement. Today, machines have been developed to help stroke victims walk independently. Today, robots have been developed to carry on conversation, provide companionship. When I say companionship, I mean just that, like human companionship. Complete everyday tasks, chores in the home or office. In Japan, they have developed a magnetic resonance imaging machine which will record your dream and play it back to you on the screen so you can watch your own dream. You know how you dream, you forget about it?
Yeah.
You can watch your dream back on TV, basically. You just play, it will play back. You'll see your dream you had last night. There is water bicycle. Actually, water bicycle, you can ride on water and travel on it like you travel on the road. They're doing that. Drones for firefighting. Instead of spending millions of dollars buying fire trucks and all of this stuff and training personnel to go fight fire, you actually have drones. You just connect to your phone and have a water source like a hydrant. The drone picks it up and goes as high as you need it to go and put fire out. So if you have these drones are very cheap, basically. For one fire truck, you can buy about 10 drones. Have them in the marketplaces. It is market fire, you take them out. High-rise places, office areas. So it's a question of just applying tech the way it is presently. Dubai today has unmanned drone taxis. Believe it or not, you go to Dubai, if you have the money, of course, and you decide to go from one point to the other, you can book for a drone. It's a taxi. There's nobody flying it. You get in it, the door shuts, and it takes you wherever you're going and drops you off. You have autonomous vehicles. Cars that move on their own without a driver. But now let me tell you, the best autonomous vehicle as at about 2 or so years ago was made by a Nigerian from, Dr. Akpoti will like this, from the Delta. His name is Frederick Akpogene. He's a Nigerian migrant in the US, and he's made the best one. Remember during COVID, we couldn't go out to go anywhere to go buy food, everybody was locked in. With this vehicle, and it has enough space for like a little store, you can order your food, it will bring it to you and drop it off. And you have, like in Africa or Nigeria, you have very hard to reach areas. It can help you deliver medicines to those places if there's an emergency. There's a lot that is going on. There's a young man called Moses West, African American, who recently, he used to be in the military. He developed atmospheric water generator. He pulls moisture from the air to produce clean drinking water. So you don't have to do borehole. It's like rain. You just get from the atmosphere water that you can drink. Digging borehole, having a well, going to reticulate other rubbish that we used to do. Technology has really cut down a lot of stuff. Now, let me go back to genomic tech for a minute, and also AI. For each AI, you have more than 100 technicians programming one AI. Typically we say 2 heads are better than 1. So imagine 100 heads putting something together. It'll be the very best product. So we have an AI that is a doctor, it'll be the best doctor. Yeah. You have an AI that's a pilot, the very best pilot, they might get tired. You will hear pilot error, human error, and all that rubbish that we hear. You go for surgery, you have robotics doing your surgery. Doctors don't touch you, they just stay on the computer and do their thing, and it goes in there and takes care of business. I have experienced it. I have done one of those surgeries. Doctors never touched me. If you look when surgery was done, all you see are like 5 holes. The middle hole goes on top of your navel, that's the camera. The other 2 come from the sides, that's where the things that cut and sew back and all that and staple you back in. So doctors don't actually touch you. You go in the hospital, you come out. If they keep you overnight, because you want to be sure that everything is okay, you don't have to stay there, you can just do out of patients. So you can go for open heart surgery, you go in there, dislodge the blood clot, pull it out, you don't put a little plaster on it, and you're gone. Okay. Now, what do we do to fix our education or improve our education or make it better? Today we talk about digital and analog. Those of us who are analog like myself, we know what, the younger folks here, they know what I mean. When we teach students, we're still making the mistake of taking the stick, making them memorize and give it back to us. That is not the way to go these days. This day you put something that they can use their finger digits to play with. They must be doing computers, using computers. I know Edo State through Edo Best has put computers in schools. Maybe they've started a very good program. It needs to grow so that everybody in Edo gets it. Curriculum, what you teach, and instruction must have IT integrated. Now, in curriculum, we have 2 types. We talk about the core or hard curriculum. We talk about the soft curriculum. They must go hand in hand. Typically, we talk about IQs, and that's where we stop. But there is intelligent quotient, that is important. Emotional quotient, very important. Social quotient, also important. Adversity quotient, how do you deal with adversities? You do that by having guidance and counseling, mostly in schools. And so far we don't have those. That part of us is empty. We need to put that in there, build that in there. The schools, let's go to our universities very quickly, then I'll stop. Our schools cannot live apart from the community in which they exist. When you think of Stanford University in California, Stanford is the main reason why Silicon Valley exists. This is very important, please. Let's pay attention to this. And because of Stanford, Silicon exists. And all the multi-billion-dollar businesses also exist because of Stanford University. How many businesses can we say exist because of University of Benin or Ayewoh? Okay, now, because of Stanford University, some of the names you're going to hear now that you'll be shocked is the reason they exist. When you hear Apple, eBay, Cisco, Lockheed, Hewlett-Packard, Netflix, Facebook, Oracle, Tesla, Hollywood, they all exist. And they're making billions of dollars every year because of Stanford University. The researches and things that spew out of Stanford give birth to a lot of all these businesses that you see, and a whole lot more. Fortunately for us in Edo can be like Stanford. Yeah. California is the 5th largest economy in the world. Yeah. California is a state. Edo can be one of the largest economies in Africa or the world, although it's a state in Nigeria, if we do the right things. Yeah. Like I said earlier, before this administration that is leaving, I almost returned to the country that I kind of survived in for the last 34 years, where I have my children and grandchildren. I wanted to return. But this administration gave me some hope. When I started hearing that I said, Dope-based education, what does that mean? I went to check it out. Okay, not bad. Then I heard about the Creative Hub. I said, Hub? In Nigeria? Okay, I got to listen to this. The hub is either a facility or on the computer, but this is a facility. I went to the Creative Hub, Education Hub, Tech Hub. I said, Agri Hub. I said, we are getting it all. I need to sit back and see what happens next. So, Edo can be like California in Nigeria. Our universities can begin to do things and we can begin to make monies from them. Now, to improve education generally, there are 3 critical areas we must always look at. We'll look at access, increased enrollment, drastic reduction in the number of out-of-school children. Also critical to this is a never-been dropout roundup through adult education and TVET, technical vocational educational training. After access comes quality, and then relevance. Now, quality of education centers, like I mentioned earlier, curriculum and instruction. We must those two fix. We must include also performing and visual arts in the schools. We must do special needs education. Most Nigerian states have special needs. I don't know what we really have in Edo. I'm not too sure about that, but I have a sense that we're doing something about it. But special needs in Nigeria generally is mostly warehousing. Just put all the special needs people in one place and say we have it. No. Special needs, they have classifications, number one. You must teach to a classification. And then it's a program, it's not warehousing. Okay, to restructure and reposition our educational system properly, we must have reliable data on all aspects of education to drive reforms. Academic emphasis should be on literacy and numeracy at the primary level. Then science, tech, engineering, mathematics, what they call STEM, at the secondary and tertiary level. If you watch closely, you see America now advertise for STEM professionals. They are looking for people who have, science, tech, engineering, and math training. Just like they've taken our doctors, they've taken our nurses, they now want to take our STEM professionals. Anybody who studies science, technology, engineering, mathematics, they now want you as well. So you see what Nigeria must be very busy to train its own. Some are going to leave to go on and do some things. Those that will remain will also do things here. So we don't lose everybody. Okay, suggestion here is to create a magnet or theme school based on serious curriculum review and amendment to include robotics and drones in the secondary and tertiary levels. You start to teach robotics at the secondary level. Don't wait. In fact, I'm glad that we have AI and oxygen, written on your caps. AI, Ayewoh Udalo, should now be artificial intelligence. Yes. But let's have artificial intelligence university that would actually have all these programs in it that we talked about. Would that be a magnet for people to come to Edo?
Sure.
It would probably be the only one in the country. And because that's what the future is going, guess what? It's going to attract a lot of people. A lot of people across the country. For those who want to train and jackpot, those who want to train and remain and help, it will take everybody. And like I said earlier, education is an industry. That will bring a lot of money to Edo if we have such a university. So it will also probably thrill Mr. Iwudalo to know that, he's also artificial intelligence. And we can have an AI university. And instead of, it will be Ayewoh Udalo University, of course, it will be Artificial Intelligence University.
That will be exactly.
Okay.
It's already, the site is already there.
Now, we must
AI University.
integrate information technology, like I said earlier, in curriculum and instruction. And this must be vertically aligned and rigorous. We must domesticate performance evaluation protocols with implications for promotion, retention, and professional learning. We seem to have this tendency to say we have APA form, Annual Performance Evaluation Report. I've looked at APA across this country in all 36 states. Not really good. APA, you evaluate yourself and give to a supervisor to sign. Do you know anybody that will evaluate themselves and say, I'm doing badly?
No.
Or I need help in certain areas? Oh, I'm the best. So everybody's APA is good. And we can't all be good. Now, what are the implications for leadership now that we're going to an election? We tried to make a decision between the politician and the leader earlier. We are looking to somebody who will be a leader because we need someone to look at the next generation, somebody that has a vision, a purpose, and a passion for the state. We need leaders not in love with money, but in love with justice. Not in love with publicity, but in love with humanity and equity. The following describes such a leader. When you make an informed decision, is this leader fearless, determined, deliberate, measured, enlightened, visionary, progressive, thick-skinned, decisive, accountable, and he or she must have a track record of competence. So the choice in this election is no rocket science. It is simple. It is between going forward or going backwards. Between freedom or retrogression. It's between progress, between progress and retrogression, between freedom and repression. Moving with the rest of the world, because we're in the global village, or going back to Agberoville. Who knows where Agberoville is?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Agberoville was where we were before Obaseki stepped in.
Yeah.
It was about lions and tigers. We must find new ways to do things. The old ways that didn't work prior to Obaseki needs to be discarded, and I must thank New Face of Edo for what you do. Thank you.